you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good, good. Well, welcome. How are you hoping I can help you today?
Well, I've just been trying to sort some things out in my head, and I'm finding out that I'm in a bad neighborhood.
Okay.
And need to talk to somebody to maybe, to at least hear my thoughts and get some grounding.
Okay. Feeling unheard outside of here?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to talk to, because when you talk to people, it seems like everybody has their opinion of it.
Sure.
And it feels like my opinion or my thoughts might be wrong.
Okay.
But it's kind of hard to listen to them, because then you just want to defend where you're at.
Yeah. So your opinions are not important and constantly need to be defended.
Yeah, it feels like I'm thinking wrong, or being too lenient, or too, I don't know.
So what are these wrong thoughts you're having?
Well, I've been struggling with my 20-year-old daughter.
Okay.
I recently it's been a year now, separated from my husband, basically because of stresses between him and her, although I think there's a lot more to it than that, but again, it's a
pretty
hard
complicated.
thing to figure out. In his mind, I can tell you that it's all because of her.
Okay.
And he has built up a lot of negative feelings towards her, and a lot of almost resentment. I would say resentment.
Sees her as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is this her biological father?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I remarried. I divorced when Katrina was 9 from her biological father.
Okay.
And I remarried. She was about 11. And there always was a personality clash between my current husband and her. And I kind of, I guess, tried to overlook it, or I spoke with someone I could trust on this, and did get a good reflection that I kind of became a chameleon, to where I would just try to adapt to whoever I was with and not really stand ground on either. And so, looking back, I should have done things a lot differently than I did do.
So you were a peacekeeper, advocate for both sides of it.
Yeah, for Katrina it was hard, because I knew she was a middle child, and there was always something about her that was more sensitive, more, what's the word I want to use? Just very low self-confidence, low self-esteem, even as a younger child. I mean, when I would drop her off, she had just started where they did the all-day, everyday kindergarten, and we finally had to come up with an agreement with the teacher that she could do it every other day, because she would literally cling to my leg crying when I left her. And I know that kids do that and they outgrow that, but with her, I mean, I remember one time I was going to go for lunch with a girlfriend. I was doing home daycare at the time, and I had a day off. And I was leaving her to play with a friend who was about her age that she loves to play with. And I was talking to my girlfriend, and as I was doing this, she crawled back into my van and hid, because she didn't want me leaving her, even though she was going to be playing with a friend. It was
very
very strong. Yeah, very, very attached. And
very close. Very close relationship. Okay.
And she always struggled with learning in school, and with reading. And she was in, like, I'm trying to think what the program is now, what they call it. It wasn't Head Start, but something similar to that, where we even had a homeschool liaison come to the house and try to work with her at home. And that kind of compiled the feelings of stigmatism, because she would get pulled out of class sometimes to do different coursework, and she always felt like she was different or excluded. She really only had one close friend since first grade. She never had a big circle of friends when she was little. She's developed more now.
Okay, so some of the social aspects, which for school children would include academic performance, she struggled with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think she always seen herself as being stupid. Her older sister, who's 4 years older, was always very academically gifted.
Okay.
I mean, Nikki picked up things, no problem. And then she has a sister that's 4 years younger, and Anyway, so I could see in Katrina the sense of insecurity, sense of instability, and I also realized that how my role in the dynamic played out with everything. I probably didn't help her along as much as I would have liked to have. And that kind of brings her forward to a point where now she's 20 years old. Maturity-wise, she's probably very similar to her 16-year-old sister. As a matter of fact, the two are very close. They spend a lot of time together. And so every time she's had a job, it doesn't seem to last very long, other than she has one job. She works 3 to 3.5 hours a day at the Boys and Girls Club, doing a tutoring at the CLC in Sparta, and she loves it. She loves working with the kids. She loves, you know, and she's looking at doing it full time now finally through the summer. Please God, let this play through. But I've kind of taken a step back approach with this of not. I've encouraged her, and I have gotten upset with her, and I have said, "Get your ass to work. Come on, enough's enough," you know. But basically, what blew it all up was that she bought a car, and my husband paid for the car with the agreement she'd pay him back.
Okay. This is the gentleman that kind of at odds with
yes.
a personality
and
clash.
it was one of those, when the opportunity first hit, I thought, oh, this is a bad idea. First thought right on that one, it was a bad idea. And I should have stuck to, but I guess maybe it needed to play out.
So all your thoughts aren't ridiculous or stupid. You have some intuition.
Yeah, maybe.
You can kind of
I hope.
predict things. Okay.
Yeah, and that one I did see, and it ended up blowing up, and that was when we ended up moving out and into the apartment. I've given her kind of a year, like I said, of kind of watching things, of trying to be more firm with her on stuff. I guess the other piece is pulling back more from her, not giving her if she needs money. Oh well, you know, you're fully capable of working. Sorry, you know. And it's played out to where I have to watch it because she'll filter it through her younger sister sometimes when she needs gas for the car or something, and they
manipulate
and they got a dad that's an alcoholic, so those two have got PhDs in manipulation. I mean, he's taught them very well all of the finer arts, and I don't try to use that as an excuse with them. I do try to pull it out when I catch it and say, you know, not so much, this isn't going to go down. But
so if I'm hearing this right, the current struggle is, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sensing a little, I don't know if regret or guilt is the right word.
Guilt is probably a very good word.
And it sounds to me that you feel that you've coddled her up to the point where she's 20 and doesn't have maybe some of the skills that you would expect her to have at 20. Is that, am I on?
Yeah, I mean,
on
I'm
point there?
seeing mistakes I've made that I wish I had done things better.
Talk about that. What, you know, turn back the clock. What are some things you would have addressed a little bit differently?
I think that while I was still married to her father, it was just very, very dysfunctional, very unhealthy.
This is a father that struggles with alcoholism?
Yes.
Okay.
I was very unhappy, and I pretty much wrapped my life into the 3 girls, and they were my life.
Yep.
And I think when I went through the divorce, it was really hard. It was a huge, messy, ugly divorce. My ex got people to camp in his camp that were from my family. It was really dysfunctional. It was, I didn't even know how, it was so, and it really threw me, and I took a long time to get my feet underneath me. And so looking back at my parenting at that time, no, it wasn't what I wish it would have been. Then I, of course, remarried and again stepped forward into yet another, well, it was a far more functional, structured environment. The family relationship dynamics, instead of talking about them or addressing them, kind of went under the rug. And
yeah, and it's, you know, blended family. With, you know, you talked about Katrina, is that correct? Who sounds like she has a very strong attachment with you.